Alright guys, this is going to be my personal review on a 2016 YXZ1000r. I bought this new about a year ago. Basically what I'm going to do here today is just kind of talk about pros and cons, what I've done to it, recommendations maybe here and there. I find I spend a lot of time on YouTube looking up information and gotten a lot of help from people on there, so I thought maybe today I'd give back a little bit. As you can see, I haven't done a whole lot to it. Just a few bolt-ons here and there. The first thing you probably notice here is this rear bumper. This is built from the guys over at Crash Off-Road. I really like this bumper just because it's one-piece design. It's very strong. Has this upper bar on top here. Almost acts like a little bit of a tailgate. This is a race machine. I have taken a few hits from other machines out on the track, and I don't know if you can see or not. Got a few scratches on her, but overall, very solid rear bumper. Highly recommended. Also, the guys over at Crash Off-Road, you'll notice this overhead bar, just kind of a rear cage support there. Puts a little extra protection above your head. And also comes with, it's a one-piece design. It's not bolted. Some of the other guys, they've got the lower drop bar, which puts your harness mounts in the correct position, lowers it down so it kind of pulls down on your shoulders rather than upwards. A little bit safer design. He includes these hoops on here, which make sure that your straps don't stretch out too far or spread apart where they shouldn't be. Again, this is all one piece. Added safety on the cage, puts the harness bar where it should be. As you can see, still comes with the upper support up there, which is a lot beefier than the factory one that is simply there to hold the plastic up. Kind of a no-brainer buying something like that for a machine like this. Check them out, Crash Off-Road. Very good guys, very good to work with. You can find them on Facebook, or I think they got a website too, crashoffroad.com, I believe. Next thing, you probably notice here, radiators in the back. Almost a must-have in my opinion. There's a number of different kits out there. I went with ABF's kit. It uses the stock radiator. Basically, you open up the front and pull the radiator out. Their kit is a direct bolt-on. Radiator fits in there like a glove, and then it just mounts in the rear bed. As you can see, leaves plenty of space. You can still throw a cooler back here, whatever you want. What I also really like about this kit, comes with all the plumbing. Basically, there's a hard line right from the radiator, comes straight down and hooks right in to the factory boots underneath. There's no hoses zip tied all over the place. The kit came with everything. Also, wiring harness. Very nice, sealed, manufactured wiring harness that came with it. The way that they designed it was it actually goes up and hooks into the factory where the radiator was. So it still is controlled by the computer and the temperature gauge of the computer. And it also comes with a flip switch up here that I installed up on the dash plate, so you can manually run the fan whenever you want, and like I said, it will still run off the factory computer. So if it detects it's getting hot, it's going to shut it down. Now this dash plate I put in here obviously gave me some slots to put some switches. I got my light bar, the fan. I'm going to put in a rocker switch for my winch here soon, and then I got another set of lights. I'll probably put a switch in. Who knows what I'll put in the other one. The gauges, the plate came with spots to put gauges. I wanted to get a water temp gauge so I can actually tell, see the actual temperature of the machine. And it's pretty reliable. It's a cheap gauge. Didn't figure it was worth spending a whole bunch of money on something that's sloshing through the mud and rain and everything else all the time. So if it does get ruined, I'm not out a whole lot. Just put a voltmeter on the other side there, or a volt gauge. Just mostly just to fill a hole, to be honest with you, but it's also nice to know, make sure it's running with good voltage charge and everything. Just kind of help you detect problems. Haven't had any there, but now you'll notice, obviously this thing is completely tore apart. What I am doing now is pulling the transmission out. I'm going to do the 70/30 gear reduction kit, the Yamaha kit. I'm going to attempt to do it myself, which depending on how this goes, I might, after I get it on the bench, do a little video of how to do that. I know what you're probably thinking. Anybody that's done this job before, yes, I've taken out way more than I have to. A, I've never done it before, and B, as I started digging in, you'll notice that's the skid plate, is the last layer of plastic before you get to the ground. And right here is where the floor pan would sit under the seat. And as you can see, there's 5-6 inches of dead space under there where all the wiring, frame and everything is hidden. It's a lot of space where a ton of dirt has accumulated. So once I get this transmission out, I'm going to finish opening up the other side, and I'll probably roll this back on the trailer and take it to work and give it a good deep cleaning. Who knows how much dead weight of mud and dirt has accumulated under the frame of this thing. So that's why it is so tore down. Plus, it's not really a huge deal. Plastic clips and 10mm bolts. It's really a lot easier than it looks. Get that stuff out of the way and creates more space to work on things. And like I said, I've never pulled these trannies out before, so I wanted to give myself extra room to get in there and have room to turn the wrenches. Some more things that I've done. Obviously the 5-point racing harnesses from Beard. I went with 5-point over 4s just because it was super simple to add the 5th point underneath. There's plenty of places under the seats to mount that 5th point. Also, that keeps the lap bar down, so when you cinch up your shoulder straps, it doesn't pull that lap strap up your belly, so to speak. There's a problem we noticed right away. The thing wanted to ride up your stomach as you were bouncing around, so that 5th point really helps keep that harness exactly where it needs to be, and it never hurts to be too safe. 42-inch LED light bar on top. What I did here is actually mounted it right to the plastic. I know that seems a little crazy, but if this thing takes a hit, which it has, all it's going to do is fold up this plastic. Now, yes, those are zip ties. They actually stabilize the bar incredibly well for just a couple of zip ties. And again, if this thing takes a hit, the plastic's going to flex. It'll probably break my zip ties, but it's not going to destroy anything. Sometimes having stuff mounted too rigid can be a problem. It's just going to break things. With that, I kind of designed it to have a little room to flex. Different wheels and tires. Really no rhyme or reason. The stock ones did the job just fine. These are bead locks. I did, in one of my races, I did lose a tire, clipped a tree just barely the wrong way, lost a tire, ruined my race. So a set of bead locks solves that problem. As you can see, these tires, these are 28, 10, 14 Rockabillys. They're not super aggressive. They almost look like more of a truck tire. They are radials, which I do like. The factory, the stock tires that come on these things, I forget what they're called, these guys over here. Super awesome tires. They bite really, really well, which was almost a problem for me. Going into corners hard, the machine wanted to plow or push the front end. So with an aftermarket set of wheels, I was able to get the right width to run the same size tires all the way around. What this does is actually take some of the traction out of the rear of the machine, and when running in 4-wheel drive, it allows the front end to pull itself around a little bit more, so you can actually corner better. And with these tires being a little bit less aggressive, and I know they look pretty meaty, but they actually slide a lot better, which is kind of nice. For high-speed cornering, you can actually drift the machine around rather than it hooking and potentially rolling. Still plenty of bite for climbing hills and mud and everything else like that. So far, really happy with this wheel and tire setup, and I'll probably stick with them for a while. Safety. It's actually required for the racing, otherwise I don't know that I'd put one on, but it doesn't hurt. Have a little fire extinguisher on there. Go ahead and move around to the other side of the machine here, kind of give you a better look at what I'm digging into. Fuel tank just came out, as you can see. More mud and dirt and everything else underneath that you probably couldn't ever get cleaned out without taking it apart. So I'm going to call this my annual deep cleaning, tearing this thing down. Plus it never hurts. Like I said, it's fuel tank has to come out to get the training out. From what I've read, obviously my training is still in, so that will come later on. All I've got left to do is unbolt the tranny, unhook all the lines and wires and everything else, and then get the shafts out, and then I can get the transmission on the bench. And like I said, I'll probably do a little video of what that looks like. Speaking of tranny, I was talking about some of the things I've done. It does have a Rekluse Kit with Barnett racing clutches in there. If you look closer, you'll see, yes, that is red RTV. I've had that cover off about 5 times now doing clutch work to this thing. And those $12 gaskets get to be a pain to purchase and find locally. So in my experience, a little film of RTV works absolutely great to seal it up. Yeah, it doesn't look the best, you know, with all the extra that comes squirting out of there, but it does the job. It's sealed up tight, super easy to scrape off and replace. The reason why I've had that cover off about 4 or 5 times, like I said, is my first Rekluse, I actually burned up in about 30 miles. I'm not telling you this to talk bad about Rekluse. I'm telling you this to share a little story about how awesome the guys were over there. Basically, after I burned that clutch up, I took it out and I sent them a nice email basically requesting some better information as to what maybe I did wrong when I installed it. And the guys over there were curious as to what it looked like, how it failed. They simply requested a few pictures of what the Rekluse unit and the clutch pack looked like. The stock clutches that were in at the time were actually in pretty good shape yet, and the Rekluse was actually completely burnt. They felt that something there wasn't right. Again, they were super awesome to work with. They agreed that something wasn't quite right with what had happened and how fast it failed, and they really worked with me on getting a new one sent out almost right away and put back in the machine. So again, I mean, it was a little bit labor on my part, but the guys over there, the customer service was second to none, and they really took care of me. So obviously that's why I decided to put a Rekluse back in and give it another shot, just because I think that company over there, you know, earned that business for me. So kind of see down here, little Weller Racing action. That is their thermostat housing. Reason I went with this is that housing comes with 2 ports for sending units. It has a location for the stock sending unit for the computer, and it has a location for an aftermarket port that runs up to my gauge. So I can have basically 2 forms of measurements, sending units on there, one for the computer and then the other one completely disrupted by the computer that runs my gauge, so I can physically see where my temperature's at, and the computer is still getting the readings that it needs to function correctly there. Trying to think if there's anything else I've done. A little rear view mirror, woohoo, who cares. Well, like I said, I'm digging in pretty deep with this thing. It's kind of nice to get in and see how things are built and how it works. It's really easy to work on. Other than that, I've been pretty hard on this machine, and it has never left me stranded. Even when the clutch went out, I was still able to limp it back to the trailer. Very strong unit, I believe. It's the only one I've ever owned. I've never owned any of the other brands, but I've had very good luck with this Yamaha so far. Pushed it probably to its limit and back a few times. and it really does a nice job of handling and speed and everything else. We'll sneak up here. You can see Assault Industries tie rods. When I lost that front tire in a race, I also bent one of the tie rods, so I went ahead and upgraded to Assaults. As you can see, they're very beefy units. I know it's kind of dark, but real easy to install. Bolt right up, on the inside, and then on the outside there, come with their own ball joints. Nice units. Basically, haven't had any problems up front ever since then. Like I said, if you like the cage bars I got on the back there, those are the guys over at Crash Off-Road. They do also make full roll cages. Hopefully I'm going to probably put one on here soon. We'll see. This stuff ain't cheap. None of it is. But that's definitely on the to-do list, to get a full roll cage on here. At that point, this one here is going to be for sale because I won't need it anymore. Another big shout out. This is my door I took off. Dreamin' Big. Check them out. DreaminBig.com. Apparel company. Awesome shirts, hats, sweatshirts, everything you can think of. These guys are based around chasing your dreams. Really going after the things you enjoy to do, and focusing on being a dreamer, which obviously goes hand in hand with me and this machine. A lot of support from them guys, to keep after it, get out, have some fun, do some racing. Obviously safety is a big thing, but what can I say? I've always been kind of an off-road guy, and this machine's been an awesome addition to my collection of toys to get out and enjoy the trails and get a little dirty from time to time. So anyways, be sure and like and comment if you have any questions about things that I've done or how to do them. Feel free to ask. I'd like to hold out a hand and support, help other people out with doing their own work. I do all my own work. I don't pay anyone to do anything if I don't have to. That's for one, I can't afford it, and two, that's just not my style. So anyways, thanks for watching. Sorry if this kind of drug on a while. Hopefully in the future there'll be some more videos of some more tech tips, and maybe get out and have some fun, some trail videos and racing and stuff like that. We're getting ready to go to a big mud event here soon in the next month or so I'll probably have some videos from that. So anyways, subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching.